Hi, welcome to lesson 2 of chapter 11. Now, of course, things get a little bit more difficult because we're not just dealing with fractions, we're dealing with algebraic fractions. Now, in our last lesson, we learned that n times a divided by n times b would give us just simply ab. We're able to reduce it. And I gave you the example of 24 over 36, which we were able to reduce to 2/3. Now you're going to have fractions that look more like this. And this is where your factoring that you learned in chapter 10 comes into play. Because when you look at 3x minus 6, you can see, I hope, that you can pull out a greatest common factor, 3. And if you do that, then your leftovers would be x minus 2. Well, if you look at the bottom and you have 5x minus 10, you could pull out a 5. And what do you have left? X minus 2. Now, do you see how this would be your n's, your x minus 2's? Okay, so because those are exactly alike, we can eliminate them, and we can simply reduce that algebraic fraction to 3/5. Okay, I think you might enjoy this chapter because it's really fun getting rid of common factors. Let's say you had x minus 1 divided by x squared minus 1. Again, you have to think through chapter 10. You're going to first look at the numerator. You have x minus 1. There's no GCF. It's a binomial, but you can't take the square root of just simply x. And so this is in its factored form. There's nothing more you can do with it. When you look at the bottom, however, you can look at it and see there's no GCF. But you can take the square root of the first term and the square root of the last term. It's a binomial and it's subtraction. In other words, it's the difference of two squares. And so you learned that you could rewrite it as a sum and a difference. Okay? In other words, the square root of x, square root of 1, and 1 is plus, or a sum, and 1 is minus. And then when you have it in this rewritten form, you can see that you could eliminate this and this. Now, if you eliminate everything from the top, remember that you really, just like when you were cross-canceling in normal mathematics, you can put your little 1 there, okay? It's probably good practice to do so that you remember that your answer is 1 over x plus 1. And that is your answer in its simplest form. So that's what you're going to be doing, those kinds of things today as you deal with fractions. You'll be asked questions like this: 2x plus 5 divided by 2x, or the fraction. And you'll be asked, if you can factor this, or reduce this fraction, do so. And a lot of times you're not going to be able to do so. This is one of those cases. Again, look at the numerator. Is there a GCF? No. It's a binomial, so I move on to step 2, right? But can I take the square root of 2? No. Or 5? No. Okay, so I can't do anything at all with that. Okay, I'm also going to look at the bottom. Well, there's no other term. There's no GCF to do. I can't do anything with it. And I know this is your temptation, is to cross out these two x's. But if this is an add and it's being added to 5, it's not a factor. And the only thing you can eliminate from the top to bottom, remember your NA divided by NB, these are factors, okay? So if it's being added on, then the only way that you can get rid of it is if you had a matching 2x plus 5 on the bottom. You've got nothing here, so you're simply going to put NP for not possible. You cannot reduce it. Okay, and just one more example of a type of problem you will have. You'll be given things like 3 over x and x over 6, and you'll be asked to give them the same denominator, make them into equivalent fractions. And so in this case, they really don't have anything in common. So you're going to have to, just like if you were doing a math problem with fractions, you're just going to have to use both of them as your denominator. And so to change to have 6x on the bottom here and to have 6x on the bottom on this one, you just think, well, I had to multiply this x by 6 to get 6x on the bottom. I also have to multiply the 3, so I'm going to have 18 over 6x. And again, here, 6 times x gives me 6x, so I have to multiply this x by the same thing to have equivalent. So my answer is going to be 18 over 6x and x squared over 6x. And that is going to start you on some of the other problems that you'll be doing in this lesson and in the future. Have a great day.